You're watching NBA Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Hope all of you are having a fantastic weekend coming your way on today's show. Yes, we're in the midst of the NBA playoffs, which up to this point has been very, very entertaining and competitive from top to bottom. The finals matchups in each conference gonna be lit, but right now the second round matchups very, very good. But the point of this video, latest 2022 NBA mock draft from ESPN, full first round. We're gonna react to it. By the way, NBA draft lottery will be determined on May 17th. The actual NBA draft June 23rd will be live here at Chat Sports for both events. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. So we first start off with the top 5 in ESPN's latest mock, and I happen to disagree. I cannot touch Chet Holmgren at number 1. I'll expand my thoughts here momentarily. But Chet Holmgren going number 1 to the Houston Rockets, followed by Jabari Smith out of Auburn to the Orlando Magic, Paolo Banchero out of Duke to the Detroit Pistons, which I think would be a monster addition to the upstart Pistons considering how well Cade Cunningham played last year. Jaden Ivey out of Purdue, I really, really like him. Maybe I like him more than most. I would think about him as a top 3 player in ESPN's mock. He goes to OKC at number 4, and Keegan Murray out of Iowa, number 5 to the Indiana Pacers. Before I really relay my scouting evaluations for each of those 5 prospects, and as we move forward in this first round mock, I want to hear from you, the audience, because here at Chat Sports, we love to get your feedback in the comment section. So right now, let me know who the number 1 player in the 2022 NBA draft class is, and give me that name in the comment section. As for Chet Holmgren, I'm rooting for the kid. I think he's an entertaining watch, but with his lack of size and his frame, as he's a little bit hunched over, I'm not sure how his game is going to translate to the NBA level. He is one of the most polarizing NBA draft prospects in history. I don't think anybody knows what this guy can become. Of course, we can project who he might become, but I have no idea. I've watched him so much, and I'm just not sure what type of player he's going to be. What position is he going to play? Is he going to be a 3? Is he going to be a 4? Is he going to play an undersized 5? And if he does play that center spot, how does he fare up against a guy like Rudy Gobert? He's going to get bodied up by Joel Embiid. There are a bunch of centers in the NBA level who I think are going to be able to exploit the mismatch against Chet Holmgren. This I will say. Yes, he has the length. Yes, he has the height. He is a very good rim protector, but at his size, with that skinny frame, how does that translate to the NBA level? He does hit three-pointers at a pretty efficient clip, right around 40% last year. He also has a dribble pull-up game. So that part of his game is certainly intriguing, and given his size, the handle that he has is pretty fascinating. 14 points per game last year for the Zags, nearly 10 rebounds, almost 4 blocks, which is great, even given the level of competition, and he hit about 61% of his field goals. I just think that I'd rather go with Paolo Banchero, maybe even Jabari Smith over Chet Holmgren. Shifting gears to Smith, his athleticism, elite. I think over time he's going to be able to get a bucket on all 3 levels. Given his size and his length, he's able to get his shot off from a variety of areas on the floor. I like his pull-up game. His mid-range game is sweet. I like how in his offensive package has a little bit of a fadeaway J, and he can hit the 3 too. 42% on his 3-point makes last year, 17 points per game. I already know the athleticism is going to work to his benefit at the NBA level, and I think over time the shot is going to improve. Paolo Banchero, going into the NCAA tournament, wasn't sure what type of player he was. I wasn't sure if he had that dog mentality. I wasn't sure that if in the guts of the game he was going to be able to take over. He impressed me throughout the NCAA tournament, and I like the versatility to his game, offensively and defensively. Now, defensively, I think he's going to be a better player at the NBA level than he was at Duke. A lot of that has to do with just flat-out effort, and at times during his first college season, the defensive effort wasn't necessarily there. Has to improve on that if he wants to stay in the league as a very good player for a long time. But offensively, the package is certainly there. I think the handle can get a little bit tighter, but as of right now, it's certainly tight enough. He can beat you off the dribble. He can shoot the 3 a little bit. He has the size to finish around the rim. 17 points per game for a Duke team that had a great run in the NCAA tournament, of course, making it all the way to the Final Four with Coach K. 8 rebounds, connected on about 48% of his shots. And again, the three-point stroke can certainly improve, but 34% with clean mechanics, I will certainly take that as he continues to get into the lab. Jaden Ivey. Really intriguing prospect and one of the more exciting players, in my opinion, in this draft class. Now, he went to Purdue, so a lot of people are going to overlook him for that, but has burst, has athleticism, has quickness, the length. He doesn't have any fear. That shot that he had in the NCAA tournament against St. Peter's showed me that he's not afraid to rise up, and I think he can do a little bit of everything on the floor. Is he great at one thing? Not necessarily, but a very well-rounded player who projects to have a lot of upside. 17 points per game with the Boilermakers. His jump from last year to this year really impressed me a lot. Why? Because it told me that he worked and was devoted to improving his craft. 36% from three. The three-point line obviously going to back up a little bit at the NBA level, but again, I always look for clean shooting mechanics, and I think Jaden Ivey has that. Keegan Murray, on the other hand. Modern day NBA, I think this dude's just going to be able to get buckets for a really long time. Has good size, knocked down about 40% of his three-point opportunities last year with the Iowa Hawkeyes, 55% from the floor, nearly 24 points per game and 9 rebounds. He can play a little bit of small ball 5, but I think he projects more so to be on the wing, play a little bit of 4 as well. Think Grant Williams, but a lot, and I mean a lot better. I'm just talking about body type here. So Keegan Murray, he's going to be a bucket at the NBA level. Now, ESPN has Chet Holmgren going atop the NBA draft. Do you think it's going to be Chet? Do you think it's going to be Banchero, Jabari Smith, Jaden Ivey, maybe somebody else? Let me know and take a guess in the comment section. And as I talked about, NBA draft lottery will be May 17th, and then the actual NBA draft on June 23rd. Make sure you subscribe. Also, you can find our NBA content on NBA Now, both on YouTube as well as Rumble. Make sure you subscribe to us by going to rumble.com/NBA Now. We have a couple of NBA channels on Rumble, Golden State Warriors Today, Los Angeles Lakers Report, and right now NBA Now is number 2 with nearly 1,700 subscribers. Once again, it's rumble.com/NBA Now. Plug in that link, hit that green follow button. Let's overtake Warriors Today right here under the Chat Sports umbrella. We'll run through the rest of these players somewhat quickly, and of course, scouting evaluations along the way. ESPN's mock draft has Shaedon Sharpe, guard out of Kentucky, going to the Blazers, followed by Johnny Davis out of Wisconsin going to the Kings. Kings haven't made the playoffs since the early 2000s. They desperately need an impact player on top of what they have on that team right now. A.J. Griffin-Ford out of Duke going to the New Orleans Pelicans. That's a great depth piece to what New Orleans is building right now. They get Zion Williamson back. Look out in NOLA. Number 9, Jalen Duren, center out of Memphis, certainly showed some flashes with the Tigers this past year. If they were able to beat Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament, I think a lot of people would have been higher on him because they would have seen him play a little bit more. Dyson Daniels out of the G League Ignite continues to really fluctuate on a lot of draft boards. Some people have him higher, some people have him lower. Streaky shooter, very good athlete, though, going to the Washington Wizards. We'll see how he can combine with Corey Kispert out of Gonzaga, their first-round pick from a year ago. Benedict Mathurin out of Arizona, going to the New York Knicks at number 11. He is lightning quick and such a fun player to watch. Ousmane Dieng out of the New Zealand Breakers going to OKC at number 12. Hey, we know that Sam Presti loves his picks, so we're not done talking about OKC on today's show. Mark Williams, center out of Duke, going to the Charlotte Hornets. And Ochai Agbaji, national championship. What a great run it was for him throughout the NCAA tournament on that Kansas team, lighting the world on fire against Villanova in that Final Four game. He was unconscious from 3. A senior, a rare senior, going in that final spot in the lottery. And Jeremy Sohan out of Baylor, a Sean Marion type of player, as we'll talk about on today's show, going to the Hornets at number 15. We'll see which head coach they decide to hire. I thought it was a crime that they fired James Borrego, but Jeremy Sohan, a very good player for the national champions from 2 years ago. Who is your favorite player in the draft? I have a couple of guys who I really like. Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero. I really do like Jaden Ivey. Coming up, I'll reveal my sleeper, but let me know your favorite player in this draft class. A lot of very good players in this particular class. Make sure you subscribe to us here at Chat Sports. Our NBA coverage is really about to ramp up. We were so busy for the NFL draft. We were live every single day, all 7 rounds, talking about every single selection. The numbers were fantastic. Almost 500,000 people joined us all throughout the weekend. And on our NBA side of things, make sure you subscribe. We'll be live for the lottery, live for the draft, and we bring you the best NBA news and rumors, so just hit that red subscribe button down below. Johnny Davis, one of the better scorers, just pure scorers in this draft class. His lack of size and elite burst concerns me a little bit. You know what doesn't concern me? His ability to just flat out put the biscuit in the basket. 20 points per game for Wisconsin last year, 8 rebounds, has a really good knack for rebounding the basketball. Has to get better from that three-point line. Only was able to knock down about 31% of his three-point attempts and 43% from the field. But keep in mind, there was a ton of volume there for Johnny Davis, who during many stretches had to carry that Wisconsin team offensively. Benedict Mathurin. This is a player out of Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes top 5 because of the elite athletic traits and the potential of what he could become over time. In fact, if I was an NBA scout, I might take a chance on him top 5. And I might be higher on him than I would a guy like Chet Holmgren. Nearly 18 points per game last year with the Arizona Wildcats. And you look at the field goal splits and the three-point splits. 45 and 37. The stroke can get a little bit clunky, but sideline to sideline, this guy in the fast break can really wow you. I cannot wait to see what he becomes at the NBA level. Player comps for a couple of these players who we've talked about. Sohan, Ben Simmons because of the size, Sean Marion, and not the weird mechanics. I'm talking overall game with his ability to impact the game from the high post. Griffin, a little bit of Jimmy Butler, TJ Warren. Those are the flashes that I get. Benedict Mathurin, Pacers Paul George when he was first drafted. Paul George over time has developed into a fabulous player, but early on he's a little bit raw. That's what Mathurin kind of reminds me of, especially from an athletic comp. Sharp, a little bit of Jalen Green, and Duran, Robert Williams, high flyer, rim protector, and just has those natural instincts on how to block shots but also alter shots at the rim. Now coming up, I talked about that sleeper that I do want to talk about. Who is your biggest NBA draft sleeper? Let me know right now in the comment section. 16 through 25. Malachi Branham, guard out of Ohio State, going to the Hawks. Really interested to see what the Hawks do this offseason. Do they trade away a player like John Collins and build around Trae Young? We will see some rumors on that front. Ty Washington, guard out of Kentucky. This guy's a floor general, dude, and I love his vision and playmaking ability. The Rockets continue to just crush in terms of player development. What they did in the draft last year, I thought they were a clear winner. Jalen Green, Alperen Şengün, Josh Christopher. My gosh, they just did some really good things last year. Ty Washington could continue to add on top of what they're already building. Tari Eason-Ford out of LSU going to the Bulls. Nikola Jovic out of Mega going to the Timberwolves at number 19, another upstart team in the T-Wolves. Kennedy Chandler, guard out of Tennessee, going to the San Antonio Spurs. We'll see what the Spurs are over time, but a couple of really intriguing young pieces on that team. Marion Beauchamp, G League Ignite, going to the Denver Nuggets at 21. You get Jamal Murray back as well as Michael Porter to team up with the Joker. That team could really be dangerous in the West next year. Blake Wesley, guard out of Notre Dame, did decide to classify for the NBA draft. Guy is also very, very quick, especially in the open floor. Memphis Grizzlies, one of the best developers of talent in the league right now, outside of the Toronto Raptors and Miami Heat. Walker Kessler, the big man out of Auburn, very good rebounder and shot blocker that fits what the Nets certainly need. We'll see what happens with Nick Claxton, but they could use another center, even though they did draft Day'Ron Sharpe last year. E.J. Liddell, forward out of Ohio State, going to the Bucks at number 24, and Kendall Brown, forward out of Baylor, going to the San Antonio Spurs with another first-round selection. E.J. Liddell out of Ohio State, my favorite sleeper in this year's draft. He is not going to go early. He's not going to be a lottery pick because he's a little bit undersized as a forward. But him going back to Ohio State for a third year did wonders for him. worked on his offensive arsenal, worked on his offensive game, worked on his outside shot. And yes, he's a little bit shorter. 6'6", 6'7" at that forward spot. Really good jumping ability. And what that jumping ability allows him to do, get his shot off. And year by year, incrementally, he was able to vastly improve on his game. If he goes to a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, ready to win a championship and can compete, he will be a great culture fit. A lot of pressure won't be on him to generate a bunch of production offensively. I think he's going to be in the league for a very, very long time. He is my favorite draft sleeper. If you love the NBA, Hooper, stand up, show out, hit that thumbs up icon, and like the video. If you're watching the show and you made it this far, you're a real one, but also you must love the NBA, so hit that thumbs up icon. Last few picks to get to, and a couple of G League players here. Jaden Hardy, G League Ignite, going to the Mavericks at number 26. They desperately need another playmaker at the guard spot. I like what Spencer Dinwiddie has done. Jalen Brunson, he's going to get the bag. I need another playmaker. Josh Green ain't that. Could Jaden Hardy replace him? Maybe. Trevor Keels, guard out of Duke. Yet another Dookie going in the first round here to the Miami Heat. And look out, they just develop players like crazy. Brown, I always mess that up. Christian Brown out of the defending champion Kansas Jayhawks. If he goes to the Golden State Warriors, I love it. His athleticism is very, very impressive. I think he's going to be able to hover around the three-point arc and be an effective player depending on the destination in which he goes to. But him going to another player development factory in the Warriors would be awesome. Bryce McGowan's guard out of Nebraska going to the Grizz at number 29. And Gene Montero, another G League player of the overtime elite, rounding out the first round, going to OKC at number 30. So who went in the first round who shouldn't have? Who went that ESPN had slotted in those first 30 picks that you think is a crime, that you think is a straight-up joke? Let me know in the comments section. Thanks to all of you for watching today's show, and make sure you subscribe if you love the NBA.